By all accounts, Nora Evans had won the damn lottery. Married to Luke, the kind of man who brought home flowers for no reason, remembered preschool snack duty, and made a killer lasagna. 2 adorable kids, Olivia and Max. A cozy house in the suburbs with a mortgage they could finally afford. The Pinterest-perfect life. So naturally, she went and blew it up. It started on a Tuesday. Luke was giving the kids a bath, humming the SpongeBob theme like it was a Grammy performance, while Nora lay on the couch scrolling through Instagram. She posted a photo from their beach vacation, kids smiling, sunset, the usual "we're fine" propaganda. Then came a message. "You don't look old enough to have 2 kids," from some guy named Zane, tan, tattooed, clearly allergic to shirts. His feed was a montage of mountains, music festivals, and mirror selfies. Freelance graphic designer. Nora knew better. She had no business replying, so naturally she did. "Flattery will get you everywhere," she sent, punctuated with a wink emoji she hadn't used in years. That single message cracked something open. Within days, Zane became her secret hobby. They messaged constantly, mid-morning, late night, even during dinner while Luke read bedtime stories to the kids. She said she was checking Olivia's school app. In reality, she was reading, "Bet your husband doesn't tell you how hot you are every day." He didn't, not lately. He said, "Did you grab milk?" Or, "Max bit someone again?" Luke was consistent, dependable, safe. Zane was none of those things. Nora told herself it was harmless. A little flirtation to spice up her very vanilla life. But within a few weeks, she was meeting him for coffee, then lunch, then a walk that ended with a kiss that short-circuited her sense of morality. She told herself it was just this once, a moment, a mistake. Then came hotel rooms, lies, new gym memberships she never used, work meetings with no work involved. Luke, ever trusting, never questioned her. He'd make her favorite tea when she came home, heat up leftovers, kiss her on the forehead like she hadn't just cheated on him. It wasn't love, not with Zane, but it was fire. It was thrill. It was something, and that was enough. For now. By the time fall hit, Nora had 2 routines, one with her family and one with her fantasy. She played both parts like a pro. On Tuesdays and Thursdays she was mom of the year, packing bento boxes and pretending to care about Olivia's glitter glue drama. On Fridays she became someone else. The woman Zane texted things like, "I can't stop thinking about that dress." A dress, by the way, she hadn't worn since her 20s and had to suck in her soul to zip. Luke, bless him, just thought she was rediscovering herself. "You look good lately," he said one night, sliding a hand around her waist while she was texting Zane under the dinner table. "Is the yoga helping?" "Sure, Luke." The yoga was very restorative. He even started planning surprise dates, concerts, movie nights, a weekend getaway for their anniversary. Nora smiled, laughed in the right places, pretended she wasn't checking her phone in the bathroom during dessert to tell Zane, "Wish you were here instead." At this point, Nora wasn't just lying. She was auditioning for an Oscar. She'd become a master of what therapists call compartmentalization and what normal people call bullshitting. One minute she was making pillow forts for Max, the next she was tangled in hotel sheets at a Marriott 40 minutes away, letting Zane whisper things that sounded romantic if you squinted hard enough. "You deserve more," he'd say. More what exactly was never defined. But Nora didn't ask questions. She just swallowed the fantasy like cheap wine, fast, warm, and with zero nutritional value. They stopped using protection after the 3rd hotel visit. "It feels better this way," Zane murmured, which is the mating call of every irresponsible man since the dawn of time. Nora, temporarily brainless from the thrill, agreed. Meanwhile, Luke was still ironing her work blouses, still calling her babe, still planning Halloween costumes as a family. He suggested she be Wonder Woman. The irony didn't hit her until weeks later. Then came the ultimate betrayal. Not the affair, not the lies, but the thing that blew it all up. It happened on a night that should have been perfect. Luke had planned everything. The kids were with his sister. He cooked, dimmed the lights, played their playlist, songs from college back when Nora still thought love was enough. They danced, laughed, drank too much wine, and for a moment, one single moment, she thought, maybe I can stop. Maybe I can end it with Zane and fix this. Then they went to bed, and in the middle of that sweet, tipsy intimacy, as Luke moved closer, whispered her name, made her feel like the woman he still adored. She moaned the wrong name. Zane. Soft, barely audible. But oh, it landed like a nuclear bomb. Luke froze, just stopped. His expression dropped from passion to pure, soul-splintering horror. He pulled away, sat on the edge of the bed like he'd been sucker-punched by a ghost. Nora panicked. "Luke!" she whispered. Then louder. "Luke! I didn't mean—" He didn't look at her. "Who the hell is Zane?" The room, warm seconds ago, turned arctic. She sat up, clutching the sheet like it could somehow hide the gaping hole she'd just ripped into their marriage. "Luke, it didn't mean anything. He turned to her, eyes glassy, confused, like someone had just handed him a puzzle with half the pieces missing. "Who is Zane?" Nora blinked, mouth opening and closing like a fish. Her brain scrambled for lies, excuses, alibis, time travel, anything. He's just a guy from work. I don't know why I said that. It was a slip. I'm tired. I've been stressed." Luke didn't blink, didn't breathe. "How long, Nora?" It's not like that. It wasn't serious." "How long?" His voice was low, calm, that kind of calm that comes before earthquakes. Nora hesitated. That was her mistake. Again. He stood up, grabbed his jeans from the floor, pulled them on like he was suiting up for battle. "Give me your phone." Nora flinched. "No, you're overreacting." That was the third mistake, maybe fourth. At this point, who's counting? Overreacting? Luke laughed, but there was no joy in it, just disbelief. "You're cheating on me. You just called me another man's name while we were—" "You know what? Never mind. Give me the damn phone." She grabbed it first, held it like it was her last piece of dignity. "You don't trust me?" "Trust you? I don't even know who the hell you are anymore." He didn't yell. He didn't need to. He reached for the nightstand drawer, pulled out a backup phone charger and a pair of socks, because even in heartbreak Luke was weirdly practical, and walked out. "I'll be staying at my brother's. Don't follow me. We'll talk about the kids later." And then he was gone. No slamming doors, no screaming, just silence so heavy it felt like the house was grieving with her. Nora sat there in the bed they used to laugh in, cry in, make babies in. Now, it just felt like a crime scene. She stared at her phone, waiting for a message from Zane that still hadn't come. Nothing. 2 weeks post-nuclear meltdown, Nora was a shell of herself. Well, a shell with messy hair, guilt migraines, and a group chat full of messages she no longer got invited to respond to. Luke had left. Zane had disappeared. And Karma? Oh, she showed up wearing stilettos. It started with a strange itch. Then the burning. Then the humiliating moment when she found herself Googling symptoms like a teenager who'd made very poor choices at prom. A visit to the clinic confirmed it. "You've tested positive," Dr. Patel said with the calm of someone who's delivered bad news to 1,000 people who swore they were being careful. Nora blinked. "Positive, as in STI, treatable, but you'll need to inform any recent partners." Partners, plural. Cute. She left the clinic gripping a paper bag of medication and shame, her dignity folded somewhere between the printed pamphlets and tips for talking to your spouse. She sat in her car for an hour, staring at her phone, heart jackhammering in her chest. Finally, she texted, "Luke, I really need to talk to you. It's serious. Please." He replied 15 minutes later, "Say what you need to say." Her fingers shook as she dialed. He picked up on the second ring. No greeting, just silence. "It's medical," she said quietly. "I found out today I have an STI. Another pause. Then his voice, clipped and cold. And you're telling me, because we were still, before you left, I didn't know. I'm sorry, let me get this straight. His voice rose just a little, enough to slice through her like paper. You cheated on me, lied for months, and on top of that, you didn't even have the decency to use protection? She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. He kept going. I knew you were selfish, Nora. I didn't know you were this damn stupid. Luke, I didn't mean... What? You didn't mean to gamble with my health? You didn't mean to drag our kids' lives into your midlife soap opera? It wasn't like that. He laughed, sharp, bitter. Wasn't it? Jesus, Nora. If you were going to blow up our life, the least you could have done was keep it clean. There was a silence on the line so thick it crackled. Then, don't call me again unless it's about the kids or the lawyer. Click. No goodbye. No take care. Just the sound of finality. Luke's lawyer filed for divorce 3 days later. Primary custody request? Check. Medical negligence is part of the case? Absolutely. Moral character clause? Oh, you better believe it. Former friends dropped her like she was radioactive. Playdates canceled. Brunch group muted. Even the barista at her favorite coffee shop stopped spelling her name right. And Zane, king of the ghosts? Word on the street, HR, was that he'd requested a transfer to another office, probably somewhere with fewer ex-affairs and potential lawsuits. So now Nora sits in a small 2-bedroom apartment that smells like regret and takeout, waiting for her phone to buzz with something, anything that makes her feel less alone. 3 months later, Nora Evans lives in a quiet little apartment that smells like takeout and low-grade regret. The place is small, the lighting's bad, and the view is of a parking lot with one very judgmental squirrel. Her life now comes in carefully measured doses. Kids on weekends, court-mandated parenting classes on Thursdays, coordinated drop-offs with Luke that feel more like hostage exchanges than family moments. He doesn't look at her much anymore. When he does, it's with the cool detachment of someone who's already erased the forever from their wedding vows. Their conversations are strictly transactional. Max left his shoes in my car. Olivia needs her allergy meds. Please send the school forms before Monday. No, how are you? No, hope you're doing okay. Those little courtesies died the night she said another man's name in their bed. She tried to reach out once, just once, a message that said something stupid like, I never meant to hurt you. It was left unread, deservedly. Her social circle imploded. Turns out sleeping with a guy you met on Instagram and giving your husband an STI doesn't exactly make you brunch material anymore. Even her parents, who once adored Luke like the son they never had, look at her like she's an episode of a show they used to love until the final season ruined everything. Her mom brings the kids coloring books and doesn't stay for tea. Her sister, who used to call daily, now texts once a week. Usually memes, nothing emotional, safe distance maintained. And Zane, the human plot twist, still vanished, probably charming his way into someone else's disaster, telling a new woman she's not like the others, while casually forgetting to mention the infection he left behind. And the worst part? The truly messed up, humiliating, soul-crushing part? Nora doesn't even miss him. She misses the version of herself she thought he saw. She misses the illusion, the attention, the ego boost, the fantasy. Because Luke gave her love, stability, and a life people dream of. And she threw it away for a few hotel rooms, some flirty texts, and a guy who vanished faster than her credibility. If she's honest, and these days, brutal honesty is all she's got, she doesn't regret the affair because it was wrong. She regrets that she got caught. She doesn't miss Luke because she loved him. She misses the status he gave her, the safety net, the emotional pension plan she cashed out too early. If she could go back, she wouldn't undo the affair. She'd just hide it better. And that's the ugly truth, the one she tells herself at 2 a.m. while scrolling through Instagram, looking at other women's perfect lives and wondering if they're just better liars. Now, When people see her, they don't see Nora the mom, Nora the wife, Nora the PTA snack organizer. They see exactly what she became, and the worst part, she does too. While Nora sat alone in her apartment surrounded by half-empty takeout boxes and full-blown regret, Luke was doing something radically different, rebuilding a life, not the old one. That was dead and buried under a pile of betrayal, deleted text messages, and a name he'd never forget. No, this was something new, something cleaner. He didn't explode after it all came out. No dramatic scenes, no shouting in parking lots or burning her clothes on the lawn. That wasn't his style. Luke packed a bag, kissed his sleeping kids on the forehead, and walked out with nothing but a toothbrush and the last shreds of his dignity. He stayed at his brother's house for a while, slept on a squeaky pull-out couch, drank bad coffee, and answered endless texts from friends who didn't know what to say, but wanted to say something. The divorce was swift and surgical. He got the house, the car, and most importantly, the kids. The court didn't hesitate, not after the medical records, not after the messages, not after the silence that followed when the judge asked Nora if she had anything to say in her defense. She didn't. Luke kept moving. That's what he did. He reinstalled smoke detectors, fixed the leaky faucet, took Max to soccer, helped Olivia with her reading. He never talked about Nora unless he absolutely had to, and even then, he referred to her like she was a former tenant, not the woman who once shared his bed. And then he met Grace. She wasn't flashy. She didn't wear red lipstick or post yoga selfies. She taught art at Olivia's school and had a dry sense of humor that caught him off guard the first time he laughed in weeks. They started talking at pickup, then coffee. Then a walk after a school fundraiser turned into 2 hours on a park bench talking about everything except the past. Grace never asked about Nora. She never pried. She never gave him pity eyes. She just let him be. And Luke didn't even realize how much he needed that until he had it.